What's up out there? Welcome back to some more Path of Exile. The other day I dropped a video for this class here, which is my Witch Necromancer, and I had kind of a weird, I don't know what kind of build it was. It was supposed to be some kind of Herald of Agony poison build with like a lightning cast on it or something like that. It really wasn't working well for me, and I just didn't care for the build at all. There was a lot of jewels in there, and a lot of unique gear and stuff that I just didn't have. I don't know if I didn't understand the build very well. It looked like the notes looked fairly well, but if you actually read through them, somebody like me that isn't really very familiar with the game just got lost. And I had no idea. The notes were kind of gibberish. They talked in a lot of abbreviations and a lot of concepts that I just didn't understand. So that build just wasn't working for me. So some comments on the video suggested going out to Gazzy's and checking out what Gazzy TV does. So I went and looked up. He's got a Gazzy Poison Summon Raging Spirits Necromancy build. I picked that specifically because it wouldn't involve a whole lot of rework on this character. Now, it did involve a lot of rework on this character as far as the skill tree goes. The other skill tree that I was using kind of went up this way over here and then ended up wrapping around this way. I think I was able to salvage a couple of these nodes over here and maybe some of these nodes up in this direction. But I had enough points to redo this, so I wasn't really concerned. My Righteous Fire build is very well on its way. I don't have to worry about redoing anything there. I'm good. The skill tree is solid, so whatever I used up on this isn't that big a deal. So I redid all of this here. I've got a few more nodes to pick over here as I level this up, and I redid the entire all the different gear and everything that I have. So I ended up putting a couple of pieces of these ringmail gloves and this deicide mask. I put these on here, and I think I may have switched out a couple other pieces to make everything work and to fit all the different stuff on here. So this one actually, we've got Frostblink, we've got Summon Raging Spirit, we've got Arcanist Brand, Shield Charge, Animate Guardian, Summon Totem, Summon Stone Golem, Raise Spectre, and then over here we've got Haste, which I need to put up on the other one because Haste we have to keep recasting. And then there's Determination, Vitality, and Anger. So I am in the process of leveling this up. Not my character, but actually all the different skill gems. Pretty much every gem had to start from scratch. So I ended up going back into a tier 1 map, and this thing just couldn't kill anything. So I had to actually go into the campaign and back all the way to, say, Act 6. And level it up a little bit. I am back into the mapping section though. It's still a little rough, so I may end up having to go to like the campaign or something for a little bit more. Let's see, what's an alright map? I'm not quite sure how to play this build because it doesn't seem like this thing, it doesn't seem like the minions last very long. And it might be down to the gear that I have, it might be down to the gems not being the gems not being leveled up. So I'm not quite sure. Let's see. I gotta wait to summon that. Let's see. The other thing I should mention. This is actually a collab. It looks like between Balor Mage and Gazzy. So this is the Poison Summon Raging Spirits Necromancer build, and this seems a lot better. The build guide is much easier to follow. Everything makes more sense. So let's see what we can do here. This actually feels fairly well. The only downside I'm finding is that I have to basically stand here and just kind of shoot these things off into the distance. So I can go up to a little bit here. I think I'm supposed to be dropping this. I haven't watched any videos from anybody on how you're supposed to play this or what it's supposed to do exactly, but I just basically kind of stand back and fire this Summon Raging Spirit off into the distance and let it go. These don't last very long, so that's the big problem that I'm running into is just these things just crap out and go away. I notice up in the upper left, it's up into 20 now, but these things actually melt stuff off, so it's not bad. This is kind of a good build. Let me rephrase that. I don't mean that in a way of, well, I'm surprised this is good. I mean this in the way that, oh my God, that other build sucked so badly. Or however I had it built just wasn't right, and this build is so much easier to follow and doing so much better. And this is pretty much the same gear that I had. Like, this is the same chest piece, but I was able to incorporate the gloves and the Deicide Mask from the Searing Exarch stuff. I've got some Val stuff in here too. And I can't remember what else I traded. But we're at 5,600 armor, which is better than what I had. And I didn't even really have to try for the resistances. I'm all 75% on everything. So I put minions increase damage on the gloves. I didn't put anything on the chest piece. Nothing there, nothing there. And I might not have been able to put anything there, but basically I was able to put some minion stuff. And with the gear that I'm using now, the different gloves and everything, even this bone ring has minion increased attack and cast speed. So like I was able to make this a better build with better gear without even trying. You know what I mean? Like this is so much easier to run. And I like this. I like this a lot. Oh, I need to summon that one thing too. So there's another minion I get to summon with this Raised Spectre. There's actually a whole bunch of stuff that carries me around here. But I did a little bit of combat with it last night. Yeah, yesterday. I guess yesterday's the day I spent most of the time rebuilding this. Yesterday being Sunday. And I had to go somewhere for a little bit and then come back. And so I got started on it before I left. And then when I came back, I finished up all the different skill gems that I needed. And got into combat into the Act 6 and 7 and 8. I had to kind of go through the map, not do Act 6 over again necessarily, but run through several of the maps, go into Act 7, run through several of those maps, and so on, and just kind of moving around that way. So that's pretty much how I had to redo this. But once this stuff started leveling up, like these went up a lot quick. So I'm at like level 9 to 11 or something like that on a lot of these. We still got our minions out here. So it's definitely getting better. The thing that surprised me is how much of a difference the leveling the gems made. I was just shocked at how pitiful these gems are when they're level 1. You know, I've swapped some gems out here and there, but I'll swap like one at a time, maybe 2 or something. I've never wholesale swapped everything out like this. And this was vastly different. Like the exact same gear that I am wearing right now is what I was using yesterday. And I mean, I could survive for a while. I wasn't necessarily dying to the stuff. I was just dying, or I don't remember if I died. The issues I had was that I couldn't do anything on the map because I couldn't kill anything. Did I just finish this? I think I just killed the boss. So that's how this has been running. Fairly well. Let's see, do we have everything up? Yeah, so we need to call another one of those. Oops. I did not do the Pantheon stuff very well. Let's see. I do have all the Pantheon stuff. I was watching one of Gazzy's videos talking about the different Pantheon stuff, and I need to change that. That kind of reminds me now that I accidentally clicked the button. But, let's see here. I mean, this thing's surviving fairly well. I know this is only tier 1 maps, but still, I wasn't able to survive any of this the other day. Like, it was horribly broken. Like, this build just did not work at all. And now I'm rocking through this fairly well. Like, I'm not dying. I know it's not like a huge, obviously there's a lot better ways of doing this, but compared to where this started, what this class started out as the other day, this is way better. Like, miles better. And I think I've ran through the whole dungeon now, haven't we? Yeah, we still got a little bit left. I think you're supposed to be able to call these little spirits in and let them run around. I just keep having to shoot them like a machine gun and keep blasting them out there. The problem is you'll see this count drop off very quickly. So if I just fire them off into here, we're down to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and now we're back up to 20 or so. As these things start fighting, they kind of drop off. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to town here. So, massive change to this character, and we are doing really well. I didn't even pick anything up, did we? Just a couple maps. All right, we'll drop these off. And I'm going to dump into my Righteous Fire character for a second, and we'll be right back. Okay, on the Righteous Fire side of the house, I have made, because that other build was so crappy, I came back and started doing some Righteous Fire. I now have almost every node in here filled out. I've got the Twilight Temple over here at tier 4, and I've got the Putrid Cloister up here at tier 12. So I'm at 113 of 115. I almost have this thing filled out and done. So it's been a little bit of a slog. I've had to go in and run a bunch of level 1 maps, and why do I have Bone Crypt up? I don't remember. Or is that for the other? That must be for the other character. I didn't know you could swap between them like that. So anyway, I've been running these Kirok missions and trying to just keep all the ones that I don't have completed. And it was very difficult to get these in here. I burned a whole ton of these Kirok things down here. And I did everything I could to get what I have. And I think I needed 2 or 3 maps. So I got those here in the last couple of days. So we're fairly well complete, almost done with the mapping portion of it. I don't know what I'm going to do after mapping, but we'll see, because I'll be able to free up. Actually, I should go back into here, because I'll be able to free up a lot of all the nodes for mapping. So I'll be able to free a whole ton of this stuff up, except for like the ritual stuff I'll probably keep. But I'll be able to free a bunch of these nodes up from all the Kirok missions, because I don't think I need them anymore. I don't think. But I'm going to pick up more of the ritual stuff, because there's some nodes over here and over here I'd like to pick up. I'd like to do more ritual. I've been doing some of that, and that's kind of fun. I'm really digging that. I don't know about these bosses. I'm going to need to work on my bossing capabilities, which means getting some better hardware and stuff. And I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but I've decided that I'm going to do solo self-found this next season. Whatever we get next season, I'm going to just click the SSF button. I know it's just like a toggle button, but I think that's what I want to do, because that's how I'm playing this right now. And I think I want to just make it official next time and select that. So a lot of the things that I'm doing right now is just basically playing for that type of gameplay. Now, that said, I was into, I guess I better go in here. I happened to click over on the exotic tab because something I had was corrupted. And I started looking at this, and I saw that I only had 1 tainted orb of fusing and 1 tainted jeweler's orb. And I started looking at some of the other stuff that I had, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Then I noticed that I was starting to build up these eldritch ichors and embers and stuff like that. And I learned something. So apparently you don't just get gear that is Searing Exarch and what's this other thing? The Eater of Worlds. Apparently you can actually use this. I did not know, but there's a currency over here that you can use to put those on. So I now have some implicits on here. These aren't great. I kind of took what seemed good for this build. So like this one of them is while a unique enemy is in your presence, 45% increased in evasion rating from equipped helmet and boots, 4% increased damage per frenzy charge. I think I have frenzy charges. And then on this one, it is, let's see, 35% increased armor from equipped helmet and gloves, 5% increased movement speed, so that seemed cool there. And then on my chest piece, I've got 50% reduced reflected damage taken and 8% increased effect of your curses. And up on the helmet, we have enemies you've recently have a 65% reduced life regen and 10% increased flammability curse effect. So this is kind of cool. This added a whole bunch of stuff to it. I did not know that these existed. Once I found the gear that was the red color, and I've heard people talk about adding your implicits and stuff like that, but I didn't quite get what that meant until I just happened across this stuff here, and I'm like, oh, hey, that's great. So I burned up all the big ones that I could to get the best, what I could out of it. I only had like 6 or 8 of each and maybe 20 of these lessers. But I used up as much to get something that was useful until I build up more of this currency. I'm going to leave it at this. That's just extra bonuses on everything. And I think there was also a couple of these that weren't qualityed out to 20. Like I had switched out some of the gear at some point. So now everything's 20% quality. And I kind of messed around with trying to craft a better weapon, but it just didn't work very well. I was kind of tinkering with some of this stuff. And I got an immortal flesh. So once I'm able to actually equip this thing, supposedly this is really good for regen. I mean, obviously it's got a lot of regen on it, but a lot of life and a lot of regen. Minus 25% to all elemental resistances. So that's a killer. I can't really equip this thing. And if I try to throw it on, I'm like barely there on lightning res. So that goes way down. Cold res goes way down. Like, this is not a good belt for me right now. But in Pox's guide, he actually talks about using the Immortal Flesh. So now that I've got it, and that just goofed up everything, didn't it? Nope. I was swapping some stuff around earlier, and all these buttons got changed out. It was kind of a headache to switch it all around. But got the Immortal Flesh. I'm looking forward to being able to actually use that thing at some point. The problem is none of my gear has anything available to put the resistances on. Like, this one's full. This one has it, but it's full in the spot that I need it. And the same thing with the rest of these. They're either full or the suffixes are full. So I can't add anything in here. So I've added what I could to make this better to the things that was missing, and I've got all the implicits added. They're not great implicits, but I've got stuff added at the very least so that we've got, you know, some stuff to work with. And I did start getting, I was running some Elder stuff, and what did I get? This thing here, whatever this thing is. Blight Curtain Elegant Ringmail. I think it's got some kind of Elder or Shaper. Must have Shaper. Suffix modifier of shaping. I'm assuming that's from the Shaper. As I was running maps, I kept finding some of these oddball maps in here, like this Arcane Dwelling Vault map. Area is influenced by the Shaper. I haven't been able to kill one of those bosses yet. I fought, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them, and those things are tough. I was barely surviving the maps. Some things were just slaughtering me going through the maps. But I made my way through enough to get to the end boss on several of those and tried them. They're tough, so I need to definitely get my gear a lot better, and that might be something I work on. But I've got some video ideas that I want to do, so at this point I'm going to probably stop and work on some video stuff and maybe play a little bit less and kind of regroup, take my time. What I need to do is finish off the mapping stuff. I got 2 more to do. That'll be the grind that I work on. I got some video ideas that I want to do. I'm going to work on that. And then I'm going to regroup and figure out what I want to do with these 2 characters that I have, because I need more work on Righteous Fire to get it elevated up to do all the bossing stuff. And the Poison Summon Raging Spirits build needs some work on there. I need to run through that and start doing some stuff there. So, and once I get those 2 map pieces done, I'll be able to redo my Atlas tree to pick up some more content for probably my SRS build to go tinker around with and do stuff with and see how that goes. So anyway, that will do it for this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Take care.